Kwanza nene nizimela mic before. Sasa hapa isikuzwe tena, isikuzwe hata kidogo.
Imedisappear. Now what has happened? Nataka kusimama. Usisimame, ngoja kwanza nikuonyeshe.
Para.
WhatsApp yangu iko open hapo.
Yeah.
Kuandika
Sasa nene ni mute ile mic kwanza.
sikuwa nataka uende before unionyeshe.
close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest, echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move.
sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, my life destroyed. Until I woke awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Fly up away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Can I be your superhero? Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still. Hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall. Fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it
speakers, the music is bringing. We're all flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart's so full, I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive, we're just listening, we're existing. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start looking as a lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but in the dead of the night, teardrops on the floor. The pain is over, feel the darkness take control.
You alive, can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try study me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blown me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted. Can't copy, printed. Can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted. Persistent, spoke it into existence. So consistent, no assistance. Hear me once, become addicted. If I rap it, then I live it. There's no cap when I be spitting this.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Cheza ngoma DJ, cheza ngoma. Wow. Hey. Sasa hii bro inanipatia alsas ya game fulani hapo, tulipigwa sana weekendi. Skip hiyo ngoma, skip hiyo ngoma. Nimesema uskip hiyo doba. Imeisha. Hiyo uchungu bado ni nyingi man. tulienda pale inakaa rugby finals ya New Zealand versus Australia, try moja na conversion. Skip hiyo doba bazo. Lakini jana si tulirudisha 3 oya. Tulirudisha 3. Imebakia zingine 4 za Chelsea. Chelsea watapigwa kama kibetiko na nyoka. Unajua Chelsea squeezy wana behave kama menses, once in a month. Wins zao zinakuja once in a month. Cheza ngoma DJ. Najua DJ Ivat ni mtu wa Chelsea. Kwanza DJ Ilo kulikuwa na International Women's Day. DJ Ivat and your fellow Chelsea fans, happy International Women's Day. Sijui mbona ambaye hujakuja na kamisi leo. Hey, especially a Python move, the way you roll that thing, baby. Oh Lord, I know what I'm doing is so wrong. She say, and so what? Yeah, yes.
Open prayer is kuna vitu kadhaa zingwa.
So ni enda tuna haina shida. Oh Lord. Whoa. No P. Hey. Yes, sir. Just a reminder that this is the 2023 PRSK Student Mentorship Forum. The theme for today is the evolution of communication in new digital age. Hizo ndio vitu nitauliza. Sitauliza uko na mademo wangapi. I'll be asking you what's the theme for today. I'll also be giving you a list of the guests that we are having today. We'll be having the VC in the building. We'll be having our COD, sorry. We'll also be having our Dean. We will also be having our DVC Finance in the building. We'll also be having CEO PRSK. We'll also be having Public Affairs and Strategic and Climate Change Communication Specialist. We'll also be having the Head of Communication and Public Affairs, Google Africa. And then we'll also be having the Country Manager, Planet Management Group. And then we'll also be having Head of Corporate Communication and Resource Mobilization of Kisii County. Nani ni Mkisii hapa ndani? Wa Kisii in the building, eh? Usiogope. CEO wenu atakuwa area leo. We'll also be having our dear lecturers in the building. I don't know whether to call them my colleagues because today I am not a teacher. Today I'm an MC. So if I was to pick about colleagues, then I'll probably think about Manu the MC and the likes. Yes. So those are the esteemed guests that we'll be having, not to mention the overall team from PRSK who are coming in with goodies. I'm still encouraging you guys to come and occupy the green seats so that we can begin. Our guests are already in the building. Please, I don't know what I'm going to do to make you guys leave that back bench. No, I will not give away goodies to people who are seated at the back. Can you guys please make way to the green seats? Kindly. I am very polite. Kindly, please make way to the green seats, kindly. kindly. Hey. Kindly. Yeah. Hey, why not that tata? Whoa, that thing too long. My dear, make I tell you. Yeah.
Now the guests
Yeah.
can come.
Yeah. Please come. Yeah. Hey. Mtu hataki kutoka hapo nyuma. Mtu hataki kutoka hapo nyuma. Mtafanyia demu yake aje? Hey. I give her like, yeah. On the decks is DJ Vat. Make sure you follow him. He's the reigning J Kusa DJ Artist of the Year. Guys, kujeni. Hawa watu wamekaa nyuma, kujeni. Kujeni, songeni mbele, wacheni kukaa nyuma. Yeah. Yes, sir. Mr. Kasmil nakuona in the building. Hey. Say what? Guys, kujeni mbele. Those guys at the back, songeni huku kwa front tafadhali. Please. Hey. Say what? Hey. Kolo. Say what? Say what? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big shout out to Mr. Kasmil. Guys, we're almost starting in a few. I can see some goodies are popping up. Hey, yeah. What? Stay on my grind. Steady on my grind. Say what? Hey. Yo. I'm your favorite rapper and MC today. Whoa, whoa. Your body better done. Your body better done. Yes, sir. Our guests are arriving at the venue. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Our team guests, welcome. You're very much welcome to Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. DJ. Unachezea CEO Angie. Welcome home our esteemed guests from PRSK. We are very much honored and pleased to have you in the building. Behind you are the most intelligent students the world has ever seen. The most respectful and the most intelligent ever. We wish you'd absorb all of them after school. Ama nachoma. Mtu alisema anachoma kila kitu lakini si mboto, si ndio? DJ tupatie ngoma ingine respectful ya kukaribisha wageni. Ama cheza tu zile zetu, tuache kupretend. DJ Lo. Student ukipenda hizo ngoma, we assume our own things. Anyway, welcome to this beautiful program, this beautiful function, themed the evolution of communication in new digital age. We are hosting the PRSK team, and this is the Student Mentorship Forum, the year 2023. And we are very much pleased as a department to have this wonderful function. Our dear guests, feel free. You're most welcome to this institution. You are also bombarded from the back by the most intelligent students on the planet, like I mentioned, and I'm not even capping, by the way. So we'd like to begin our program with a prayer from one of our students called Naomi. Is Naomi in the building? Please give her a round of applause as she comes. You know, some people don't know how to pray. Naomi is taking us straight to heaven. Feel free.
Praise God.
I would like to quickly begin the program by inviting our dear COD to come and officially declare the event started. Give her a round of applause for msikue hivyo.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Did you have breakfast? Why are you so dull? So, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration and Finance, Professor Bernard Ikua, the Dean, School of Communication and Development Studies, Professor Florence Ondieki Mwaura, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good morning once again. Good morning. Have you ever stopped to think about how the world would look like if there were no women? You've never, right? But just look around and imagine the woman sitting next to you was not there. That would be a very boring world or society to live in. And I think that was what God saw when he decided that Adam cannot stay alone. Women are a very important aspect, or they are the spice of the society. And women are the reason we are here today, because we are privileged to be celebrating the International Women's Day that was marked 2 days ago with these wonderful women from the industry. I should have expected a round of applause for that. Why are you so mean? My name is Lillian Wamoyo Mwangi. I am the chairperson of the Department of Media Technology and Applied Communication. We call it MTAC here. And at MTAC, we train communications experts and specialists. We have a number of programs that are cut out for corporate communication personalities, broadcast and print journalists, advertising experts, and most recently we introduced a program for knowledge and information management personnel, and languages, foreign and local. Both foreign and local languages are offered at the department. And in the recent past, or in over the years, we've enjoyed a partnership, a close partnership or a cordial relationship with the PRSK, which is one of our main accreditation body for the professionals in our field. And we are glad to continue building and growing that relationship. And today PRSK have been kind enough to bring on board a number of other partners who we look forward to establishing and growing relationships with for the benefit of our student and the society at large. So we have Google Africa in the house. Guys, what's wrong with you? This is Google Africa. We have Planet Management Group in the house. We have the county government of Kisii in the house. We have PRSK in the house. And we have an alumni in the house. One of our former students is in the house. And we have yourselves. Appreciate yourselves also for coming. So without further ado, I wish to declare this program officially open and to welcome all of you. The students you see here are ready to tap in the knowledge and the wisdom that you have as far as the concept of evolution of communication in the digital age is concerned. I personally am interested to engage in this conversation and see how we can reorganize or rework our programs so that they can incorporate the changes that have happened over time, even as we train our students so that they are fit for the industry and they are also in line with the current trends. So yeah, I wish to declare this meeting officially open and to welcome all of you with a round of applause. Thank you so much. Back to you, MC.
Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Madam, ungeanguka, ungekuwa umefolia MC. Give her another round of applause. She's looking so amazing. Thank you so much for declaring the event officially opened. I would like to probably give the chance to our next speaker, who is our dean, if she's around. Before our dean comes, madam, let me just shower her with some praises. She is holding a Master of Philosophy degree in DVS from a university in the UK. You know, I have looked at my life after realizing that she would traverse to London or to the UK to study. Alafu sasa kuna mimi mwenye hajawahi panda ndege. You know, it's so good to, you know, traverse through the physical features to go and get this degree. She's also a PhD holder from the University of JKUAT. Give it up for Professor Florence Ondieki Mwaura, who is our Dean. Madam, please come and address your esteemed students and our guests today. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Denver, for your very flattering remarks. Maybe before we continue, could I ask the students in the balcony, please come forward. This is your event. Don't stay far away. Please come as close as you possibly can so that our guests can truly interact with you. Please feel free, feel confident. There are some who are really hiding way back. Please feel confident to come in front. Today's function is about you. Okay. All right, and thank you for turning out in large numbers. All right, mine is very brief. On behalf of the School of Communication and Development Studies, I would want to welcome each one of us. I especially want to welcome our Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Administration and Finance, Professor Bernard Ikua, who in his due time will give the opening remarks. But I also especially want to welcome our guests today. We have Ken Kamau, we have Dorothy Ooko, we have Mercy Ndirango, and Lillian Bonareri, who will be introduced to you in due course, and who would really want to interact with you and share their experience from industry. So here we are introducing you to the world of work, but we do not have the full puzzle. I think they will complete the puzzle for us. So on your behalf, I'm looking forward to that interaction and wish you an excellent meeting. So, Bona MC, asante sana. And continue to come in front, please. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. I've realized Professor CV is very rich in experience. Besides her academic, she's also a full-time associate professor. She's a senior lecturer. She's a former director of Nairobi CBD. Madam, I'm so jealous of your CV. You're giving a good competition to the late Professor Magoha. The world is happy when a woman studies that hard. Thank you so much. I'd like to recognize the presence of our lecturers in the building. Madam Cecilia, I don't know if you can say hi. Please give him a round of applause.
Sijatosheka, that's not a round of applause for our professor. Not just a professor, but also our DVC finance. Mambo ya pesa. Welcome, sir. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad I'm a professor of engineering, so no money. But I manage money when it comes. Our dear guests, we have with us Google Africa, Madam Dorothy Owoko. We have Planet Management Group, we have the dean. Staff members and students, my discipline, I have come to just give opening remarks on behalf of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Victoria Okoigumi. She's also a woman and we are celebrating women. We are celebrating women. Some of the MC asked whether how they would be without women around. But that question is to ask somebody called Kenyan, because he's someone who experienced life without women. And he was very bored after living no animals. That's what the Bible says. He didn't find any animal, now free today. And God said it is not good for man to go. Now, that was they have a model, a better model, which is a woman. And that is why everyone is so beautiful. And we thank God for this. Let me mention this that with the CV of Professor Flores, what we MC, to say that she's also in one of my research groups on energy. So you see, what we hear is, I said that an engineer, we are very poor in communication, and we need people who are in communication. Need to help us in getting social acceptance of our products. So we engage her for that purpose. So let me not bore you much, because I'm a man, and let's go to the Vice Chancellor's remarks. So, I would like to express my special thanks to the Department of Media Technology and Applied Technology and Communication, the School of Communication and Development Studies, and Public Information Society of Kenya for their continued effort to cement this partnership. In the same breath, I would like to appreciate PRSK in partnership with the United States Embassy in Kenya for celebrating our women during the month of March. I'm aware that PRSK will be telling the story of that one Kenyan women who have been trailblazers in the public relations profession. I'm pleased to recognize our keynote speakers and guests who have taken time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. Your presence here is a testament to the importance of this partnership and the value it brings to the communications industry. This partnership reminds me of the importance of collaboration and partnership for us and achieve success in isolation, and is good working together that we can make a real difference in the world. The partnership between PRSK and JKUAT is a shining example of what can be achieved when two organizations come together and share a vision. Over the years, our university has maintained an amiable relationship with PRSK through the networking efforts of the School of Communication, dating back to 2013. This partnership has yielded a number of benefits for both organizations, including phenomenal product exposure student and staff membership enrollment, and an increased student enrollment in the corporate communication management course, which currently has the highest student enrollment in the School of Communication and Development Studies. The future of communication is one of rapid growth, and we are taking note of the impact of artificial intelligence and natural language processing. We understand the importance of interpersonal communication and building mutual relationships through communication. This is a partnership
iko nayo
the students of this event is an opportunity to see the future through the lens of the children's professionals who practice what we are learning. Many people who are coming, we're talking about professors of practice. And we are really what we want to have this. That when they have a lot of experience, when they are with retirement, they should pass the university and impart all the experience. So, professor of practice, you work with professor of practice, same with master. Please, once you get into work, yeah, you are senior lecturer of practice. We are saying that this is very important. Only that there is a question that you have to answer with Google, because I've seen some people have been trying to search. I'm sure you have used Google this morning.
hapa nasikia YouTube iko but hiyo ingine hakuna.
A woman. Yes, and evolve our skills to shape the future of community. The second group, I'd like to reiterate that taking work is a plan that sets trends in higher education, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. We believe in partnership and we will continue to open our doors to these networks so that in the long run, our unity with the industry shall shape the future. Actually, members of LIWA, who are trust meeting industry academia, and it's very, very important because we are in one ecosystem. So as we leave this event today, let us remember the importance of collaboration. Let us continue to work together to build a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. Foster understanding and create more just and equitable world for all. Thank you once again, PRSK, MTAC, and the School of Communication and Development Studies for making this event possible. I wish you all a productive and enjoyable time here today. Thank you very much for this. Thank you so much, Professor. Please give him another round of applause. Now, details of the focus. Anyway, we do not modify this. One thing about Professor Bernard, who is also our ABC Finance, is that I'll be asking these questions if you're keeping I have to do so. So, Professor holds several degrees and has posted over 22 articles. Professor, you said there has been no solution to understanding women, but with 22 publications already. Over 80 of them, I'm sure you can find a solution. Anyway, our dear professor studied at Pretoria University in Japan, so we are dealing with very learned people that I hope will challenge to also pursue your academic excellence. Moving forward,
to invite a PRSK representative He is called Amos Kariuki. He has been working as the membership manager for PRSK for over 3 years, and he's very young and vibrant like you guys. So as he comes, please give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, Amos. You're welcome to JKUAT.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Hi. Backbenchers, hi. So Kariuki Amos is my name, and I work at PRSK as membership manager. And our core activity as PRSK is to make sure you guys, we bridge the gap between you and the industry. That's why you have Akina Masi here, Dorothy here, Lillian here, Mo here, to just show you what you expect to get out of the industry. So PRSK also has many members. We have 14,000 members. And out of those members, we are coming up with a program that will help you get a mentor to guide you through your programs. So make sure as you get out, or maybe as you are walking out of this event, make sure you drop, or rather you write your name on the registration form, because you're going to be contacting you directly to just make you aware of what we are doing. The other thing is, for today, we are doing something special for you guys. We'll do a discount for every person who is here in terms of registration. It's usually 2,000 shillings, but then you're going to register you at 1,000 shillings. So if you want to be a member of PRSK and enjoy the benefits of networking with various people in the industry, please make sure you input your name on the list outside there. The other thing, please, you can go to our socials, follow us at PRSK Kenya. On YouTube, make sure you subscribe, PRSK Kenya official. We need you guys to learn from these ladies. We have some videos that are coming up of Akina Dorothy Oko and Lillian there, and then you're going to be learning from them in terms, it's a 3-minute video, excuse me, but you'll be able to learn in terms of their journey as PRS, or as PR and communication practitioners in Kenya. So thank you very much, and we look forward to more partnership between us and JKUAT, and we're very pleased because you always come and through in terms of mentorships and everything that we ask you guys to partner with us. So thank you very much, and we look forward to very, very major and big strategic partnerships between PRSK and JKUAT. Asanteni sana, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Amos, for your remarks. Now, before I go to the next speaker, I think I would like to give some 1 or 2 gifts before we move on to the next person. Now, before I do that, even before I give out anything, I'll be giving out these giveaways on condition. So please make sure you retweet or you tweet. And I think the highest, the person who will get the highest retweets will walk away with a gift hamper over there from YouTube. Since we are celebrating women this week, I think it would be prudent that I be gender sensitive. So I'll be giving both a lady and a gentleman these amazing gifts on the front. Somebody tweeted a funny thing in Nigeria. I was looking at, I was running through Twitter, and this is in relation to International Women's Day. We all know the Nigerian election, how it went, and their body in charge of elections is called INEC. It is the equal representation of IBC. So somebody tweets and says, "Happy International Women's Day to all the women in the world, except INEC chairman's mother. That woman no train her picking well." That is pidgin language. So these people are so exasperated at how the results turned out, and I don't think we should let those vendettas get into celebrating women, right? Yes. So our next speaker is Mr. Ken Kamau. Mr. Ken Kamau in the category of our alumni keynote, and he is at the Public Affairs Strategic and Climate. He's at the Public Affairs Strategic and Climate Change Communication Specialist. So when he comes to the stage, he'll tell you 1 or 2 things about him being an alumni and representing the corporate world in his alma mater. Please give him a round of applause as he comes to the stage. Welcome, Mr. Ken.
Good morning. Can you hear me? All right. For me, I was called in to speak to you, and I've been in these streets. I always come when I'm called upon by PRSK. But as per Amos says, my journey started with PRSK, really. And we just want one thing. How do you manage your time and how do you use your time? You must be very, very clever with your time. Because most of the time, what I found during my time is that students who used to be all over, you is going, having your cards marked and you get good grades and all that. But I knew I don't have, an influential person in government, in corporate world, or even in development world to give me an opportunity. So I had to be very clever with my time. So after class, I will go to PRSK, and this is how you invest in your money, the pocket money that you are given by your parents or your guardians or the people who support you. So my urge to you is manage your money well that you're given, or the small money that you earn, and how do you use it in the time that you have your spare time. What I used to do, I used to go to PRSK, talk to leaders in there, wanting to know what's happening in there. And I'm proud to say I was the first member of PRSK from JKUAT. That one I know for sure. I had a clever way of interacting with the department. Then CUD, Professor Mberia. I used to have Dr. Marube, who's been teaching here, who is the CEO of Keproba, my mentor, and a good friend of mine. Surprisingly, since I was very active when I was around, now time you graduate and you go into the industry. Surprising enough, after I did my final exam, and now you have to wait for 6 months, and then before you graduate, because you must have papers anyway. I was doing business with Dr. Marube. I was doing business with Professor Mberia, sending me to do some research on communications programs that they were consulting in. So I was already earning money even before I graduated. And to this end, I remember one time I used to be very passionate also about PRSK and where we could move. So at times I know I need to be at PRSK to interact with the chairman and all that. So I used to ask every year, because I was around for 4 years, have you subscribed to this year's membership subscription? And then they will give me money to go renew. It was a hard copy by then. It was not a soft copy. So with that, I used to get fair and go to PRSK and interact. And within that, I started asking. By third year, I started asking for opportunities. So what happened by that year, I was a friend to, not known to many, but a professional will know him, Samuel Karanja. Yeah. Then the MD for Hill and Knowlton, and within that I had opportunities. Before I joined Hill and Knowlton, I did a gig here to be a part-time lecturer on communication skill and public relations planning and all that. So I do several short stints and here and there. Surprisingly, in 2012, December, the MD of Hill and Knowlton, Samuel Karanja, asked, I need someone at entry level. Which CV can you recommend? The secretary fronts my CV. I think you need to work with this young man. I didn't. There was a better person then. Then I went on to do other things with Chartered Institute of Marketing. As I linger around and I know somewhere I'm going to get an entry. Yeah, but I don't know where it's going to come, because I'm a person of good vibes. Trying and keeping on and keeping on. I remember that time also I was doing a small stint and consulting here and there. But one day I was called in by Samuel Karanja. Hey, Ken, why do I keep seeing your CV? I asked for a referral of someone who could work with us. You know what? How quickly are you willing to join us? It was on a Thursday, and I told him, can I join in on Monday? Yeah, because I was doing consulting here and there at my own capacity by what I knew by then. So here I am at Hill and Knowlton, stayed there for 7.5 years, and I can attest that was a very, very big growth trajectory into my career. After that, I joined another firm, global firm called Ilman. I've worked at Telem, and I've worked with BSD. And what I need to urge you to do right now is, number one, be my urge. Don't have someone to help you out. You can ask Amos, and you'll be having mentors who will direct you on how you can package your LinkedIn. Because surprisingly, Dorothy, I knew about her around 2010. Is it now 2010 in there, still at Nokia? Because there was WeBaraza platform where corporates would send in their releases. And they had a clever way. Every release will come, and I will notice who is the corporate communications manager, public affairs director, and all that. So I would save the number, and they will save the email. So, funny enough, in my just being clever, people will ask contacts. Do you know someone at Google Africa or Nokia? I know, and yet I'd never interacted with them. But you don't know where you meet these people. So people would ask for contacts, and I will give them, and they will ask, Ken, how come you have so many contacts? You never lack contact. Where do you work? You seem so senior. And I used to tell people, when I tell you my years of experience, probably you laugh off, but the thing I know is for someone who's maybe 20 years of experience in the industry. Yeah. So you have to be very clever. You have to manage your time. You have to really network. The other thing, working. Go outside there and network. Your net worth is what? Your network is your net worth. Yeah. And I spoke about my former lecturers. We've done research with them. Someone who I didn't know through PRSK, we became friends, became my MD. Even as I left HNK, we are still good friends. I went on, now I'm in consulting world, yeah, in climate change and all that, because that's my career trajectory, is that you must really be purposeful on what you want to achieve, yeah. No one is going to give it to you. Sorry, so use the word sorry. You have to go for it. You must seek people who align with your goals and your vision. People who speak, and then you have those bulb moments, yeah. Not everyone can speak into what you want to achieve, because there are so many industries. And I've been there for 10 years now. But 3 years ago, I realized I want to move into environment, world, and climate change. And it has opened a whole pathway for me globally and regionally, the likes of UNEPs and Earth Day and all that. So really, you have to use your time really well. Yeah, research, know the people that touch you, that can help you out, and do have respect for your mentors. I had a conversation somehow about Dorothy mentioning how you want to interact with your mentors. Please, it's for you to create time. It's not for them to create time for you. Really, I want to take those 10 minutes. I hope I've made some sense. I want to tell my story so that you can relate. Around 12, 11 years ago, I was in the streets carrying notes and my bags, just like you. And imagine you can make it. Yeah. The kind of conversation I have, and then again, on the conversation that I do have, the level of exposure. You can grow, but how badly do you want it? That's the thing. Yeah, we can be, what I've discovered, we can have 2 years experience, 3 years experience, but there can be a 3-year experience who speaks, acts, yeah, and behaves as if that person is 15 years of experience. You can be 10 years of experience, yet person with 5 years of experience, they will come in your organization, and then the people will start asking, and what was Ken doing? You know? Yeah, because I've seen them. So there are some red flags that you must always check upon yourself and what you really want to achieve. Yeah, be purposeful. That is very intentional with your career. No one is going to shape it. People can only help you to shape it. But as where you go and how your growth, how you move on with your growth trajectory is all upon you. And imagine it can happen. I know maybe someone is admiring Google, yeah, and what they do. They have many products and many programs and empowerment programs, yeah. One thing I did during COVID using Google is a Google marketing program, and I learned about it. What I learned, I didn't have the proficiencies in digital marketing and all that. And it's a whole free program, self-paced. You learn new things. You have tutorials in there. You have pre-recorded lectures in there. And once you do such things, you get to know a thing or two. Yeah, take advantage, especially now when you have a lot of free time. I don't know, hybrid. It's not full time again. On how you want to attend classes and all that, and spending time again. You move to UNITAR and the UN. There are so many development certifications which are self-paced. Yeah, there is Udemy. Google has a lot of that. IBM for those who are data-led and data science-led. For those who want to understand technology, go in there. Yeah, use your time well. But again, it's upon you. I end it there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ken. Please give him another round of applause. That is your fellow alumnus to be, eh? Fellow alumnus to be for you students. Now, one thing about Mr. Ken is that I think you all remember the event that we have called MDF, called Multimedia Development Festival, right? It is important to note that Mr. Ken is one of the founders alongside our former dean, Professor Helen Beria. So give him another round of applause. Ken, MDF has been, back then it was called MMF. MDF has given rise to very good from MTAC. We've had decent competitions over the years since inception of that function. So we can't really thank you enough for being pioneer of that beautiful program. Now, I would like to move to the next speaker. I look at some of the memes women post or young ladies post out there, and you might be wondering why I am looking at the memes and all that. Ken has mentioned something to do with networking, and I think I am almost in the same line with Ken, because I am in constant communication with about 4,000 people. That is the rough estimate of the contacts that I have, and it is not safe for save. I think it's self-explanatory why I have so many contacts. So I look at some of the things that you guys post, and you're like, my only goal in life is to become a rich and a hot mom. And this next person that I'm going to call on stage is your exact motivation for that. She is, first of all, she studied at 2 national schools for O-level and A-level. Number 2, she's also a teacher, a former teacher. Number 3, she's a language expert, that is French and English. And number 4, she has been a brand guru for very big brands out there in Kenya and in Africa. And mentioned, you might have a clue from what Ken said, that she also worked for Nokia back in the days in which he collaborated with LG, Safaricom, and etc. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Madam Dorothy Ooko, who is the current communication and head of public affairs for Google Africa. Unaona vile watu wa pesa wanavaa?
Thank you. Hi everyone. Hi. You're sounding tired. Are you energized? Maybe get up. Do some smameni. Let's see. You're looking too tired. DJ, can you play some music? Let them come. Something like really where people can move, like calm down. All right, the DJ is slow, so you have to raise your hands. I want to see how far you can go. Stretch, you're too tired. All right. Up, just go up. Let's see how you're going to move. All right, start. Thank you, that's good. No, now you can sit, thank you. Really, as you sit, I wanted to just first of all thank Ken. You know why Ken was a keynote? To show you the potential of JQuat, that this is what JQuat produces. And what Ken has done is Ken has given you all the tools to really make it. So I hope you are taking notes. What is the one takeaway from what Ken said? Let's see how you're listening. As you've been told, I taught at the universities, I've taught at KU, I've taught at UCU. I'm a teacher by profession. What is the one takeaway from what Ken talked about? One person. Yes. Haraka, quick. Just say, I'll hear. Be intentional with your time. May I have a bag for that lady over there? Thank you. Another one. Yes, gentleman. Here, this gentleman. Right. That's why you needed to sit here. Mwalimu said, come closer. If you're seated farther, it's far. Tell me, what is another takeaway? It's okay, I'll hear. Don't worry. Sema. Just speak.
You said that
you can grow, but how badly do you want it? Someone from here, the guy in red at the end there. Oh, we need a bag for this gentleman here. There, that guy in red, that one. That one, yes.
He said that your network is your network.
Okay, something else. I need to be impressed more than that. Your net worth, something else. Say something else. Him, the same guy.
Seek people who align with your goals and your vision.
Exactly. Seek people who align with your goals and your vision. Thank you. Please give that guy another bag. Thank you. So that's why Ken was here. Ken was just sharing what he did as a student and how he made it. And he was really clear about being intentional, seeking people who have the same vision and goals. So my role today is to really talk about PR. How many of you are studying PR or you're in communications? Let me see. One, two. All right, great. So who can define for me what is public relations? What's communication? Who can define definition? There's a lady there.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Public relation. The definition of public relation is that it's a mutual relationship between an organization and its public.
And it's public. So what do you consider as the public for public relations? If you're a public relations practitioner.
We have various types of public. It could be the employees in an organization. The the customers in an organization.
Good.
And even us as students in JQuat, we are also the publics.
You're like your users. Okay, a bag for her. Thank you. Please give a bag to her. Thank you. So public relations is really about those relationships that you have with many stakeholders. You know, there are people, employees within the company, there are users, it's the government, and that's why we have Lillian who's going to be talking to us about government communication. It's everyone and how you manage those relations. Coming from a company that's tech, I'm going to share a bit about how I see or how we see the space has changed. So before, and many of you, you look young, so you were born past when, how many of you were born and you had a mobile phone when you were born? Of course you did. Okay, all right. No? All right, okay. But before, in my time, we only had news at a certain time. It would actually start at 5 o'clock. And then you'd get your news, and then you'd wait for the newspapers in the morning. These days, how do people consume news? And that's what has changed, is traditional media isn't the same. You don't wait to read the Nation newspaper, Standard, People Daily, Business Daily. You don't wait to receive them. You go online to get your news. And so you wake up, you have your phone, and you check online. And that change has then also changed how PR is practiced, which is you must make sure that wherever you are sharing your information, that your audience is going to get it online. So that's the first. Traditional media is declining, but what we're getting is digital media, which is taking front space. And you must think about how you reach that audience that is online. And so those are the questions we ask ourselves. We are also thinking about millennials like you. How do you consume news? How do you consume news? Where do you get your news? Can someone, yes? Through, sorry?
Social media platforms like
exactly.
Twitter.
Right. Social media platforms. So the rise of social media, thank you. The rise of, yeah, you can give him a bag. The rise of social media has also changed the way we consume a lot of news, because we want to make sure that we have the right people who are in social media who are listening. So Amos Karaoke from PRSK was like, please make sure you're following us. You're on LinkedIn. Make sure you are on their YouTube channel. Make sure you're following them on Twitter. You are on TikTok. You are on Instagram. You are on every other place where you need to find your audience. So even though we are Google, we are still also looking, how do we get people to learn about our cool products? So Ken was talking about the free programs that we offer. And we're always thinking, how do we get that to be where anyone can be able to get it? That it doesn't matter whether you're in Kisii, in Samburu, Kisumu, Nyeri, you can get that information. So social is changing a lot of how we communicate. So what happens is you're looking to make sure that you tailor-make your messages to suit each social media. You know, LinkedIn, it's different. You want to be seen different because it's very corp-oriented. You know, you're not on Twitter, it's different. It's news, but you want to sort of share important news, and it can be light. On Instagram, it's lots of photos. It can be serious, it can be light. On TikTok, it's video short form. So what we are seeing as well is not only having the press releases, which is becoming very outdated, but almost creating content in short video form. And you must find a way in having, not just studying, but also having talent that is unique. So I think Ken, who was here, was talking about how he made sure he would know who was sending the press releases, their numbers. That's a skill that you can have. But are you able to not only write, but can you create content? So how good are you at creating content? When I'm looking for influencers for any program that we are doing, I'm always looking at how are they on social media? How do they post? What character do I see? Do I want our brand to be associated with their brand? So sometimes people think, it doesn't matter, I can do anything. No, you cannot do anything. And no, you cannot say anything, because the internet doesn't forget. We will come back and look, and I'm always thinking, this influencer is great, but I don't want them. They're not the sort of person I want to be a brand for my ambassador, a brand ambassador for my product. You're looking at what language are they? Are they respectful? How are they? You look at all things as the owner of the brand, and then you can go and ask an agency, please get me 4 people on social media. But we look for many things. So, because we were talking with Mercy a bit, one of the things I really would encourage you, even as you are, please be humble. Be humble and be respectful. And I cannot stress this enough, because I'm on LinkedIn, you talk to many people. This lack of, how can I say, humility, because people need to know me. Like, you feel like you are an influencer, like, yeah, you should know me. So when people come to talk to you, they're just like, yeah, you don't know me, I am this influencer. No, just always be humble and be respectful. I don't think that removes from anything that you do, but people will notice what you're saying, what you're doing. And just being respectful and being polite does not cost you anything. But when you interact with people, and Mercy will tell you this, and Lillian, who's coming after me, we remember, we notice, we are like, I'd like to work with that person. That's the person I'd like to recommend. No, I can't recommend that person. They are a bit rude. The way they responded isn't right. So just do the hygiene. And the hygiene is do the right things. Be respectful, be polite, arrive on time when you need to arrive on time. Please do not, if you have a meeting, do not come late. It is not on at all, So you come late, I will notice and I'll go, that person is not serious for this. And it doesn't matter for what. I'll tell you a story. We had hired an influencer to come and be an MC for an event we were doing. It was a big event. And I can be an MC, but sometimes you want someone else to do the job so I can hang around with the guests. We were to do a rehearsal, and this person who we were going to pay did not show up. They did not show up, and they did not send me a message to tell me why. And the event was tomorrow. So we are doing a dry run. The event is tomorrow. So I call them and I say, hey, you didn't show up. The rehearsal was there. The team was there. They're like, they're famous, in quotes, because famous is many things to many people. I said, you did not show up for my rehearsal? I said, no, you cannot do the event tomorrow. They're like, no, I'll do it. I go, no, you can't. And I said, no, you don't have the job. And the following day, I did the MC myself for the event. Reason is, if you cannot show up for a rehearsal, you're not serious, isn't it? You're not serious. And if you're not serious, you also think we can't do the job. And I did the job, and it saved the company so many thousands, hundreds of thousands. And so when you say you're going to be there, just be polite. The other trend that I want to, please turn it upside down. Thank you. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the importance of data. If you're a PR person, data is so important. And at Google, nothing, you cannot do anything without data. People want to know what are the numbers. If you say JQuat student, so JQuat, you're lucky, many of my colleagues have been at JQuat, so we can actually say, of all the public universities, X number come from JQuat, in engineering and technology. But for us in PR, we are not looking just at the story in the newspaper. We are looking at how many people read it, and we can calculate, and PR is becoming very scientific right now. We can calculate the data. So if there's a headline, we go back to our dashboard. We can see how many key opinion formers actually read that headline. We can see how many people were able to share that link on social media to all the channels that are on social. We can also see how many times a spokesperson in the company was mentioned. So if the spokesperson is the MD for Africa, or if the spokesperson is me, for instance, I think on Women's Day we had a press release which was talking about the women funding we're doing. We look at how many times did people look at that. So data is important. And if you're doing influencer marketing, which is also part of it, we want you to tell us, not only there are 4,000, I have 4,000 followers, but I can tell you that many of people respond to what I say. So we want to see how you interact with your audience. So if I'm looking for an influencer, I'm not just looking at how many followers you have. I also look at how you interact with your followers. Is there banter, communication that goes on between you and them? And so data is really important. If you're saying that your story was read at 9 o'clock news, you are able to calculate how many people are watching Citizen TV at that time, or are watching NTV, or were watching KTN. Where were they? What time were they doing it? And if you have a YouTube channel, or if you're an influencer and you have a YouTube channel, we can be able to look at the back end of your analytics and go, we actually noticed, yeah, at this point people interacted with this content, and at this point they sort of all stopped watching. Can you change that? So looking at analytics, being able to, how many of you have YouTube channels, just out of curiosity? How many of you are influencers? Okay, how many of you have YouTube channels? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the rest of you? Oh, and 1. Okay. Do you look at your analytics behind? Do you look at the back end analytics? No. You need to find out, what do people like about it? Maybe it's just the intro, and maybe some people don't like your intro and they skip the intro and only go to the main part. Look at the analytics to help guide you. So I started a podcast called No Head Podcast. Plug, please follow me. Okay, it's not a podcast for, you'd be bored probably looking at you, but it's about African stories. I used to make it 1 hour. It used to be really, it was long, it was COVID, people had nothing to do, it was 1 hour. And I was enjoying the conversation. But then I realized, I went back to analytics maybe 6 months after, and I noticed that when it was 1 hour, very few people stayed for the hour. But when I changed to 30 minutes, more people are watching. When I made it 20 minutes, the sweet spot was 20-25 minutes. And then I changed my content to make sure that it was between 20-25. So I have a breathing exercise because I'm a mindfulness coach. I teach people how to breathe. The breathing exercise, people loved it. Everyone waited until we had done the breathing, and then they'd watch, and then when it went too long, they'd drop. And then you change. So you're able to change your content based on what you're seeing. So let's say your YouTube channel for the university, or you can actually be able to use the data to shape the story that you're telling. Another thing that's changing is speed. And I wish I could, stress this enough. News is happening so fast. So if you're very slow in catching up with the news, if you're slow in reading, if you're just slow, the world is not meant for you. You need to be fast. You wake up, you need to know what's happening here, because if you're a PR person, you need to see how you're going to change your story. One story can affect another story. So you need to really be fast. And that's why I love influencers who are really fast, who are able to look at what's happening here, change it, and be able to move with the times. And so if you're a PR professional, you also need to move fast, because people are talking about your brand all the time, and you need to know, what are they saying? Can you react to it? Is it something that's worth doing, or maybe not? It isn't. Would you leave it? The other day on our YouTube, on our Twitter page, Google Africa, please follow Google Africa. That's where you find out all the courses we offer. See what I did? So we had a thing about, because it's a Google Africa page, we had put something about flags. And we noticed as we put it out, it was receiving, people in West Africa were like, yeah, you people from Europe, from the US, you don't know about Africa. And then we responded on the tweet, we said, oh, but we are Africans. And then they kept quiet, and then people were like, yay, you're Africans. And then someone else started, oh, this is from Ethiopia. And then there's it was the most active tweet we've had, because people were responding, we were responding, something that could have gone 1 minute wrong, because we could have gone, oh, they think we are not Africans, we are Africans, it's us who are tweeting. We were able to address it, and then other people from East Africa were then responding. And that tweet generated so much discussion, well, good and bad. But in PR, we say there's no bad publicity, you take it all. But it was really good, because everyone was talking about it, and now we had just released our AI chatbot called BAD, and it was after ChatGPT, so people are like, yeah, this is what BAD is doing. So then it all became about BAD. But just never missing an opportunity, because you are reading what's happening, you're acting on time, and you're speedy enough. And then how to use agencies. So we, as at Google, we don't have an in-house team. We are not like Kisii County government that probably has a big team. We are not like other companies that have a big in-house PR team. We end up working with agencies. And so we look to agencies who can give us and do the quick turnaround for us. And that's again a choice that companies make. Some companies will then prefer to have an in-house thing, but most often we will use PR agencies who do the work for us, where they're able to move, they've got the freedom, but they're able to act quickly and let us know what's happening. And with that, I will open up for any questions that you have. Any question? Was I too fast for you? No. Okay. Question. I'll only have one question because we're running out of time. Who wants to be the lucky one? There, the person, the lady in blue, here.
I have a question about YouTube, and so many people are joining YouTube at this point. So my question, it's two questions in one. Number one, what is the future of YouTube, and can everyone really fit in the space?
Right. What is the future of YouTube? So let me first maybe start by explaining why YouTube has been there for the longest while. And the power of YouTube, and YouTube was competing with TVs before, was that you have YouTube when you want it. It's on demand. It's not like on TV where if you miss it, you've missed it and you wait for the reshow. You have it on demand. That has always been the power of YouTube. And what we have done recently, and you probably, I don't know if you know, we have put in things to help YouTube better. You can download YouTube offline. Yeah? How many of you know that you can download YouTube offline? Yeah, I do that even in the car, because download it when you have Wi-Fi, you download the episode, and then I can watch it if you're in the mat or if you're traveling, wherever, without having to use the money. We have also put a data saver, which means that if you're on YouTube, you can choose how do you want to watch it. Do you want the HD resolution that's really high, that uses, and we tell you how many megabytes or GB of your data? And then do you want mid version? I always use, don't laugh at me, even though I work at Google and I can afford it, I always use the data saver option. The data saver, the image doesn't have to be really good. I really don't care about the image. It's the sound that I care about. And that one uses very little data. So I use the data saver option. That means anyone can use it, because in Africa, what we got was that people thought, oh gosh, it's so expensive to listen. Now you can download, and now you can choose the cheaper version, data saver, which is almost like having a call. So it's light. Yeah? That means that anyone can still use it in terms of a user. Your question was, if you're a creator, most people are coming to create content on YouTube. Was that it? What's the future? Can all of us be creators? Yes, we can. The reason is you need to know why you're creating and what is your audience. If you know your audience, then you'll create content that is wanted. The content is in threefold. There is content for education that I find people really like, popular. During COVID, I saw kids who are making all sorts of things because they were learning from the school of YouTube. We call it the University of YouTube. Learning courses, the how to do this, and even how to cook, how to make mahamris, how to make mandazis, how to make whatever. The how to videos are really popular. But then comedy is what Africa likes. Comedy, from Mark Angel in Nigeria to Wicked Kingori that people like. Comedy is something that, at least in Africa, it doesn't matter whether it's in South Africa or Ghana, people really like. If you have the gift of comedy, comedy is good, but it's there. Dance videos are really popular, people love it. As long as you keep it between that shot, everyone is doing their dance and people like it. And now we have YouTube Shorts. So I think everyone can be a creator. I am amazed. I use YouTube for the gym. I just put it on and I've got my yoga, I've got everything. I always think, who else is going to create a channel about working out? It never tires. There are many people, and I'm seeing more and more Kenyans creating content on YouTube for working out, you know? So it used to be Essie Michelle who was doing her YouTube channels. There's a guy who I watch, Suki, Brian Suki. There's a lot, and there's never enough. And now there's someone else who's doing YouTube. So there's enough content. It's like saying there are enough restaurants. You're not going to see a new restaurant on campus. You're going to see one and it will have customers. And there's a bar that's going to be open and there'll always be a customers. There is enough for everyone. Does that answer your question? Yeah. What are you thinking about creating? What content? But maybe make it diverse like that. I think that you can play around it and have the diverse. It could be makeup, beauty. I find that when you combine it, then it's really different, because people who come to you also want to find out about who you are as a person. So more and more people are saying, I just don't want your content. I want to know how you created it. And so if I look like Sauti Soul, when we started working with them, we were telling them, show the behind the scenes, because that's what people like. And they're like, really? Yeah. And now they started creating the behind the scenes. That's what people like. What shows that you're a human being, you know? Do a bit of the backside and bring it in. But do what you love, because what you love, you will always be motivated to do what you love. Yeah? Okay. Thank you. MC.
Thank you so much, Madam Dorothy. Is it okay if I use Madam? No, just Dorothy. Whoa. You know, I want to be a little bit ethnic. I'm a tribal, eh? You know, Madam Dorothy's second name is Dorothy Akinyi Ooko. So when you see a Luo playing down on praises, is she humble? Anyway, I'd like to call on the next person, but before I do that, don't forget to tweet, and the hashtag is JQuat PRSK mentorship, and the most interactions will definitely get another bag. Congratulations to all that have secured the bag already. I know the type of securing the bag that you like, but we're also securing the bag over here. So you stand a chance of securing some 4 or 5 more bags. So the hashtag is JQuat PRSK mentorship. So please ensure that you have as many interactions as possible. Now, I think we are very much blessed to have this event, especially on the back of the Women's Day. And the next speaker, who is also a woman, has over 10 years in public relation affairs. She is a journalist. She is also a financial writer. She is also a former chief of staff in the parliament at one of the honorable members' office. And she's also a combination of so many things. Right now, she's serving as the country manager for Planet Management Group. Ladies and gentlemen, show your love for Madam Mercy Ndirangu. It is important to note that they don't have complicated hair, and that is not an excuse for not giving your girlfriends money for salon. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's still in the afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm at a liberty of giving more prizes. So I'll ask a few questions. Dorothy is, I look up to Dorothy because she's been there in the industry for quite a while, and she's really talked about very key elements that are both character-based and also professional. I just want to take two responses. What is your takeaway from what Dorothy has taught? Okay, let me start with the people from the balcony. The lady, is it? Yeah, the lady up there. It's you, yes, who's looking behind.
She's talked about being an influencer, and she said that you should be punctual and humble, and you should respect other people.
Okay, thank you so much. You can give her a gift. A guy, man, one man, somewhere, yeah, the guy with an afro, this guy here.
Hi.
Yes.
Talked about data, on how important it is on checking on analytics and also doing your research properly to be able to find interactions with the people you interact with.
Thank you. Is that what you said, Dorothy? He's talked about data. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. You can get a gift for that. So as they put my slides up, I'm just going to give a brief story about myself and the reason why I mentioned Dorothy and why I look up to her. I'm a millennial. I'll say I'm a millennial, and I was talking to Lillian and I was telling her, I'm here. Like most people who are managers, COOs, CEOs are Gen Zs. That's most people who, because baby boomers are now leaving the market, they have retired, they're leaving the market. So the people who are picking up as the CEOs and COOs are mostly Gen Xers. So then Gen Xers are people who are now in the mid-management level are millennials, and now Gen Zs are coming in as the beginning of maybe entry-level job. Now the Gen Zs are coming up. And the reason why I have fast-paced where I am today, to be in the same positions with Gen Xers, with the same, almost having the same kind of, in terms of ranking with them, and I also manage some Gen Xers, is because of one thing. Dorothy has mentioned it: respect, learning, listening. And she has also talked about time. She has also talked about, and hugely it boils down to respect. I am who I am today because of men and women who have poured into me. I like listening to older women who are older than I, just listening to how they think, how they visualize things, how they look at character. I can't just, when I'm actually talking to somebody like Dorothy, I can't use my phone. I can't, if she's speaking, I can't step out, even if I'm pressed. Like, that's how I was taught. That's respect. And it's important to understand that when you are walking into the job market, because you may have the skill. Anyone can learn the skill, but very few can get the job because of the skill. We actually give jobs nowadays because of character. You may be the first, you may have first class and all that, but if your character is not appealing, you will not get that job. That is for sure. That's something I want to tell you today. When I joined campus, I did my undergraduate in Egerton University, and I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do in media, PR, because our system of schooling, I don't know whether it's the same here in JKUAT, you learn PR, marketing, journalism in one course as a bachelor's. And so it's up to you when you get to third year, you know where exactly do you want to specialize. And when you go to the job market, you pick a place where you want to really focus on. I was talking to, we were having a discussion, I was talking to Madam Lillian here, and I was telling her, we did Java, C++, we did all those IT things that didn't make sense then, but are now making sense now. That is almost 12 years out of campus. And one thing I learned when I was in campus, I was doing everything. I will get, as women, whether women, we have to work hard. For you to prove that you can actually do what you like, you are a good in profession, we actually work hard. Unlike men, that's the bias that we find in the space. You actually have to work hard and show that you can actually do it. And one thing I used to do, I used to be everywhere in the media, in the faculty, and I think Ken mentioned that. So we used to have a studio that was starting then, Egerton Radio, and there we would learn this photography, videography, and then there was also about sound. How do you speak when you're reading news, because there's a way you need to speak when you're reading news. Then in class we will learn how do you write for news, how do you write for PR, how do you write for marketing, because they are different. And then you'll also look at how do you engage as a person, how do you engage, because mostly you will see my colleagues who are very shy, they would go to the camera because they wanted to be behind the scene, they didn't want to speak. Those of us who are very vocal, we were outgoing, you'll find we wanted to be anchors, and that's what's my dream. I just want to encourage you who is seated here, you don't know exactly where you want to fit in the communication industry, because PR, marketing, and journalism, all that is in communication. So you just want to choose where you want to be. You are in the right place. All you need to do is practice. You'll find yourself where you'll fit. So when I was doing my bachelor's, I got lucky to be at Citizen TV for my internship. We do attachment for 3 months. I don't know if it's the same here. We do attachment for 3 months, then you go back to school to clear your I wanted to say thesis, so sorry. Because you wanted your proposal and studies, so that you go back now to the industry for internship. And when I was in Citizen, I was actually learning everywhere, because as an intern, when you go to, as an attachee for this, especially for Citizen specifically, you start being a reporter, you are taken to cameras, you're taken to radio, you're taken to digital, just to find where you are. And I remember he was called Opondo, Peter Opondo. He was my editor then, and he said he loves my writing. So he told me, and that's where I first met the first man who was very honest with what I do. And he told me, Mercy, you are very good in writing. You're also very good in digital work, because then Julie Gishuru was the head of digital in Citizen. Then I was taken to digital desk, and also was doing some international news writing. But I didn't do the voice. He was very honest with me. He told me, Mercy, your voice is not for radio, it's not for TV. And I was very offended. I remember I cried, and I remember then Mercy Oburu, and I know she was very genuine and told me, Mercy, your voice is not for radio. And I really was pissed at her, wondering, why are you saying this? And I've come here to learn, so you should teach me. And I understood. I came to understand much later, not then, that they look at deep voices and all that. They have a reason they do that to capture, because there's something with deep voices, it's captures. And if you look at most people in Uganda, if somebody's an anchor, they have not done bachelor's, but they've been given the opportunity to be anchors. it's mostly because of their skill, what Dorothy was talking about, and that's their voice. So then I didn't understand, and I was really offended, and even I remember I cried so many times, and I said, I'm not going back to media. And unfortunately or fortunately, when I finished school, went back to media, worked with Citizen, left Citizen, went to Standard, left Standard, now went to write for Business Daily, Nation newspaper, found myself in Parliament, then I found myself here at Planet Management Group. That's my brief story. Going to slide number 4, I'm going just to talk briefly about the evolution of communication in PR, just a nutshell. Slide number 2. I'm going to talk about the introduction bit just briefly because Dorothy has really extensively talked about it. And then I'll talk about social media impact in PR, and then I finalize with the globalization of communication. They're all tied together. So just to show you a few elements. Going to slide number 4. So I really wanted them to put that slide because I've put some photos that I want to talk through them. I think it was working sometime. So I just want to take you through the journey or where we come from. Dorothy has touched a bit on it, and in terms of how we used to receive news and how we used to communicate then. And I remember when I used to be in the newsroom, because I'm a millennial who is almost next to Gen Xers, and one thing we used to do, I will see PR people doing, they will come with bunches of press releases, because then it was physical, and coming like 50 because they have clients who they want their stories to go online. Then they come to the editor, and then hoping that the editor will run their stories, and then they give the piles of papers to the editor to just look at them and pick 1 or 2 stories that they can run. And that has actually really changed nowadays. We've come from that to now the normal emails, the emails came in. Now we went to digital media. Like now, I remember, I'm not sure whether, yes, there were some of your students who came to the African Media Festival that just ended. And I remember I was doing the PR for that event, and now we migrated to, we are now doing QR codes for press release and media toolkit. We are no longer sharing the press releases as hard copies anymore. We have changed the way we are doing that. So in early years when PR started, it was focused about general publicity through media coverage, what Dorothy spoke about. Then we came to the expansion bit where it expanded, it included advertising, promotions, and event management. Actually nowadays, event management is part of PR. You cannot separate the two. And actually that's what is selling more. If you want your event, your company, organization, or client to be much known, through events, they are known better. So because I remember that when we did the African Media Festival, people didn't know about Baraza Lab. Unless you're in the media field, then is when you would know about Baraza Media Lab and what they did. But now when we did the African conference, we were targeting around 300 people, 1,000 people showed up. And you can imagine the crisis that we were managing in the short time. But that's when people actually knew we have a company called Baraza Media Lab and all that. That was a good PR for the company. And that's what I was saying. Now, we now have expanded to events as part of PR. Then after the expansion came, now we had two-way communication. Before it was I, as the PR person, telling the shareholder or the stakeholder on what I needed to relay information. Now we've come to the two-way communication where I have to listen to the customer. What do you want? What do you want to see? And that's what Dorothy was talking about when she mentioned about data. You need to go and see data. At what point she said she had to change how she used to relay in her podcasting, how she used to relay the information. You can go to slide number 4. Slide number 4. Thank you. How she used to relay her information because of data, and that's what is called two-way communication. You listen to what your client wants, what is your customer asking for, and then you provide. That's where we went to the two-way communication. Then we left the two-way communication. Now we are in the digital era, and we have actually upgraded from the digital era. Now we are in the integrated approach, where as a PR person, you have to work with the marketing person, you have to work with, I know our education system is Kenya is different. I work in a US company, and the US, they are very specific. If you are a marketing person, you are a marketing person. There's no way you mix marketing, communication, and PR. It's very specific. But for us in our education system, you find you are the PR person, you are the marketing person, and you are the communication person. So you cover the three in one. So what now has come, especially in my case, working with international organization, is now you have to know how do you integrate. How do you integrate with other departments? So you're going fast. We are in slide number 4. Okay. So I wanted to show you that slide on showing you how the 18th century, 20th, 21st, and digital age, now the future, how it's going to be. But it's okay, we'll move on. Then Dorothy really talked extensively about social media, and I just needed to know, and how many of you are on TikTok right now? TikTokers, sorry. Instagram? Pinterest? Amazing. Facebook, how many on Facebook? The numbers are going down. And of course, Dorothy asked about YouTube. I won't ask about that. How many on LinkedIn? The numbers are also down. Let me first use those kind. If you look at the population, one thing I was shocked, we were at Park recently, and the entire population was on Pinterest. Unlike this other, and I was shocked. People actually are more on Pinterest is more popular than TikTok. Dorothy has mentioned the importance of being in each social media for a purpose. And LinkedIn is very good for professionals. If you want to get a job, and I think Ken touched on that, you need to have a LinkedIn profile. Because HR people, I work in an engineering firm, so we hire a lot of engineers. And one thing we do, we first look at their LinkedIn. What is posted on their LinkedIn, what has been put there. But HR goes further to check their Facebook pages. How do they talk? Do they abuse people? Do they do what? HR people do that. They go further, and that can always make you miss a job opportunity because of how you write on Facebook or Instagram. So they always check your social media sites for HR. Then if you're on Facebook, I know most Gen Xers and baby boomers are on Facebook, and I was mentioning, especially we who are consultants, and if you want to be an influencer, as Dorothy has talked, if you want to be known, and let's not talk about Gen Xer, Dorothy, who is diverse. We have Gen Xers who are strictly on Facebook, and these are the people with the money. So as I'm looking for the target audience, for example, I'm looking for a consultancy opportunity, I need to be on Facebook. I need to portray my okay, so there is, I've had there's a problem, so we'll just move on and the way they had good photos, I wanted you to see, but it's okay. I'll just move on. You have to know your target audience, and I know you've learned this in class. Who is your target audience? What is your goal? Your goal informs your target. Your goal will direct you which social media site to use. It's okay if you're not on all social media. It's okay. It's not a must you be on all. You just pick the social media that really works for you. And we as PR professionals, this has come to change for us. And if you see what we do on Twitter is very different from what we do on Instagram, is different on LinkedIn, because we are targeting key audiences, because we've checked the data. You cannot see data if you've not posted anything. Like for us, we know the people who come for our pages, either people are looking for jobs, people who are our competitors in the engineering field, or people who want to get the new technology that is happening in the engineering fraternity. So that basically what people come to watch, and it's very specific. It gives you the people, the region, if it's the demographics in terms of women, men, the age group, and all that. So data is very important, and I'm very passionate about data. So this has come to change for us PR professional, because we are now able to reach to large audiences compared to before. not everyone would buy a newspaper then, but now because I've had some of you, they check your news via social media. So we are able to actually reach a wider audience compared to previously. I wanted to show you slide number 4, how we have evolved in terms of PR. If you're able to go back to slide number 4. If not, it's fine. Okay. I assume not. So the other, that's slide number 6. That's where I am. Okay. So this I'm just trying to bring a broad perspective on how PR, social media has now impacted PR. So the other bit under social media, we have now been able to do direct engagement with stakeholders. Previously, we used to do media monitoring, and we actually do right now, but the media monitoring then was for us to listen to all the station. You go to KBC, unasikia wamewataja wapi, you note it down. That is how we used to do media monitoring. Then you go to newspaper, you cut those cutouts of the paper where you've been featured, you put them in files. We had big files like this of newspapers where you had been featured. That is how we used to do media monitoring. That has changed now. We are now using applications that are now able to just bring all that where we've been covered. Like that's why we have Google. If you just Google my company, you'll see all the things that have ever been written about my company. So it makes it media monitoring very easy compared to what we were doing before. And so now we're able to even talk directly, by engagement directly with the stakeholders. If we post something and somebody comes and comments, whether it's a positive or a negative, both are good PR, you're able to understand what exactly is your stakeholder looking for. And you may change the other messages as they come. The other thing that social media has done for us is has amplified our message. So with now social media, we're able to send our message faster. If now we want everyone to know we are in JKUAT, all we needed to do was to tweet in the morning and say we are on way to JKUAT, we are going to speak about evolution of media, and the entire population within our reach. Dorothy has talked about 4,000 followers. All of them will have known. I have around 5 to 2, depending on all social media sites, all will have known. So dissemination of information has become very easy, and amplification of the message. The other thing that is, and Dorothy has talked about this, is data-driven decision making. I will use what Dorothy mentioned. She talked about her podcast, and she said she had to go, when she was doing an hour, she reduced to 30, then she went to 20 to 25 as the sweet spot. Why did she do that? Because she was able to look at the data of how many people who come to her podcast, what time do they watch, when do they drop off. So she had to make sure that she now changes her content to fit those people so that she can have the 100% viewership. So data-driven decision-making has come to support us. And one of the benefits of data-driven, first of all, is valuable insights. We have valuable insights. We have continual growth. It helps us to grow. Then improve program outcomes. If we've set this program, it's not successful. Why was it not successful? And how can we change? And then we have optimized operations in terms of, because of data, and then prediction of future trends. We are now able to predict future trends because of data. And that's the beauty. And then, of course, we have actionable insights. What are some of the actionable insights that we get from data? And there are many. As I finalize, okay. The other thing that has changed because of digital era is crisis management. I told you I work in a US company, and I remember there's a contract. So we deal with the US military and Department of State, and they're very, we sign, the documents we sign so that we adhere to the military, because military is very secretive. And I remember there was one document that was confidential that went out, and it was a crisis. And the way we were able to curb that crisis, we actually went on media. Social media, before, by the time we were done with social media, that's when the media people were looking for us to have interviews. And crisis management on how we handle them, it has changed as well previously. And we as PR people, and that's why I am keen also to listen to you, because learning is a two-way. There are things that you can't say because I've been in the industry for the last maybe now almost 12 years that I know it all. I don't. Because I need to learn from you, because mentorship is both ways. And there are things that are coming up that you guys know that we don't know, or things that we know that you don't know, and that's why it's important to interact with members of the same profession to understand the new trends that are happening. So crisis management has changed, and it's different for different people. Like I saw about BAD, it was ABC News had posted that AI has costed, is it 10B shillings for a company? And this can be good or bad news, because we didn't know about that AI, but now we know about it. It's the same like, let me use the China Square. I didn't know about China Square until it came on news. Now it's flocking. If you go to China Square, there are thousands and thousands of people there buying their merchandise. And you see, that's PR. So people, it was for bad intention, but it turned out to be for good intention. Now, if you can't even get into PR Square, the lines that are there, the people that are flocked in that place, it's mind-blowing. So it's different. So for this, I will say for China Square, the crisis worked for them. It worked for them because it looked like it was like crisis. The other thing that we can talk about when it comes to digital era is the content marketing. Nowadays, you're supposed to create valuable, relevant, and consistent content, and that's what Dorothy talked about. Making sure that you are able to read the news very early. Like now, I work in the Eastern time, so we work with the Ukrainians, Philippines, and the US team. So I know Philippines is 5 hours ahead. By the time news is being released in Philippines, it's around our 5 hours. Philippines 5 hours ahead. We are 7, depending on which Eastern time, 7 to 8 hours in the US, and then like that. So we are in a global village. So as a PR person, depending on where you are, and I know Dorothy also, because Google is global, she has to go with times. What is news in Africa? What is happening in Europe, in Asia, all those regions? So you have to keep yourself informed and read. Like if you look at my social media, I have, I think, all, if not all, actually it's all news agencies and news like CNN, ABC. Every time I wake up and open my Instagram, I can be able to tell everything that is happening globally on all news, what has been posted, what has not been posted. I can be able to see that because I chose to subscribe to those and I see the news. And nowadays it's to access it faster. That also informs me if I was to release a press release that day, I know how to tweak it to merge to what is happening at that day. The other thing that has changed for us is virtual events. I've said events now is part of PR, and I had posted a photo of where we were doing our virtual event at work. So because of remote, what COVID brought was remote working. Remote working is now huge right now, and the thing about social distancing. Now, we're having so many virtual events that are happening right now, and for a PR person, you need to know how to do these virtual events. And how do you do the virtual events? First of all is to understand which application are these events happening. So most of you maybe know Zoom. We have Google Meets actually has been, I did my master's via Google Meets from University of Nairobi. We have Zoom, we have, I can't remember them offhand, but we have a couple of platforms that you could use for events. And now we have Twitter Space. How many have used Twitter Space? How many have been part of any Twitter Space? Okay, so the numbers keep reducing. So you need to understand, how does Twitter Space work? you need to understand, because where we are headed, that's where you are going to be hosting events going forward so that you can attract the future. So that's what digital has made us. We also have influencer marketing. I had posted a photo of Aziza. They were with the British High Commissioner and they were talking about food security. So the British High Commissioner had called influencers in to come and see how the influencers can push for food security. And this is what I think Dorothy was talking about. What are you posting? If you look at the people who are invited on that list, they are very specific. The way they relay their message, what they talk about, mostly what they have aligned themselves with, that's what makes you a better influencer than the other. And nowadays, we have now shifted to looking at just the numbers. We're not just, if you have 1 million followers and you're just talking shit, we don't take you. We are now going back to, even if somebody has 4,000 followers, they're able to interact with them because it's a ripple effect. If I'm able to influence my 4,000 followers and the kind of the content I'm pushing, and I'm able to actually push the brand of the client properly with my influencer, because what that will do, it will cause a ripple effect for the 4,000 to be 2 million, for the 2 million to be 4 million, and that forth. So nowadays, when I'm actually picking influencers for events, because I do PR for events a lot, I only don't look at numbers, because you'll find these influencers with 1 million followers, they'll charge you a lot of money, but you not even get one person attending the event. But you get a person who has 4,000 followers, but the 4,000, out of 4,500 people attend the event. So the dynamics are changing. So if you want to become an influencer, you need to take a line and be intentional about what you're talking about. I won't talk again about data analytics because we've extensively talked about that. The other thing that has come with digital age is artificial intelligence. And I think we have, for Google, we have Bard, then we have ChatGPT. How many have used Google, the Bard or ChatGPT here? Okay. So what this is doing, and you need to use AI with a lot of ethics, because what is happening now, people are just copy-pasting. But you have to understand, AI is not a person. AI is a machine. So garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you post, whatever you tell AI to do for you, it will do for you, it will bring, and for ChatGPT is more of chat. You chat, hey, I want to know what are the best influential 1, 2, 3. It will give you all that. But you as a person, you need to critically think and see what you've been given, whether it works. That's what we call ethical PR. Are you applying ethics? AI have come to help us to shorten the long things, like how we used to write text, then press releases. AI can help. But you also need to put your input as a PR practitioner before you release the press release. One thing I know, there is a quote by Peter Drucker. He's a well-known author in our industry, and he says that the most important thing in communication is hearing what is not said. You may come in the morning and say, how are you? I say, I'm fine. But when you look at the nonverbal communication, I don't look fine. I'm either sad, I'm either not happy. So you as a PR person or a communication person, when you're writing these articles, when you're writing, you need to think through your audiences. What is it that is not being said that you need to say on that? So before you write, so it's very important. I think I'm done, and the only thing I'm just going to talk about, the other thing on communication in terms of what now digital age has brought in the global era is language diversity. We talked non-verbal communication, which I've talked about. There's communication styles, technology, globalization of media. And I was talking, some of my colleagues are Philippines, and there's a time I was in Southeast Asia, and I didn't remember the name of the colleague, and I called them like this. They were very offended. And calling a Filipino like this is like how do I put it, in a very layman's language, is like you're showing them a middle finger. Let me put it like that. And they were very offended. That's their culture. You can't call a Filipino like this. So it's very important, even when you're interacting with your audiences, know where they're coming from. US people are very loud when you're talking to them, you wonder why are they shouting. There's a time we had a meeting in the teams, and then you hear a project manager all the way from Palo Alto, and then they are screaming and saying, "You guys, you don't know what." So I'm wondering, why are you screaming? Please talk softly. We can hear you. We can understand you. But that's how they speak, especially US people from the South, Florida, that region. They speak like that. So I had to understand, and that's one thing we do in our company. When you join our company, we take you through a whole course on cultures, because you can get very offended because of how people speak. We looked at the Ukrainians. Ukrainians don't know English properly. So they just put words together, and you know when words are written, they sound very harsh. So we have a lady who we think she's very harsh until she came to Kenya, and we looked at her and she said, "Wow, you're such a sweet soul. Why do we always hate you on emails and on Teams?" It's because of how she writes, and that's how she understands English. So this is what communication digital era has brought. It has helped us now understand more culture. But the downside is most of us don't know our cultures. It has now we have adopted more on Western and forgotten. So if I may ask in this room, how many knows your mother tongue? How many can speak and can write their mother tongue? Speak and write mother tongue. You see the hands? How many don't know at all? You are called Mwangi and you don't know Kikuyu. You are called whichever and you don't know. How many? You see, we have hands. So you see that's the downside. We have lost our culture in the name of knowing other people's culture, and it's just to find where do we meet in between in terms of how these two different cultures. I think I'm going to end there, and I will share my slides. They can be shared to the lecturer who can share with you. So we have things to do with also time zones. Like now I work EST hours. EST hours in Kenya, it's from around 1 p.m., depending on which side of the US, 1 p.m. all the way to around 7, 8 p.m. So nowadays we work different time zone. We don't now go to 8 to 5 things. We can work at any time zone. There are those who work at 5, they actually work 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. and they're done. That is what globalization and communication has brought about. So if you are lucky, because now they have very many remote jobs, you can get them on Google, very many remote jobs that you can do at home, at your own comfort zone, at your own time. You are maybe giving the company 5 hours of your time, you work on a few things, you leave, the day is done. Nowadays we don't do and I know it's still being practiced in government and in institution in Kenya, but in the global village, people don't do 8 to 5 anymore. They do different working hours. So that's what I would say in a nutshell. I can take 2 questions so that I can allow my other colleague to come on board. Any questions? If there are none, I'm happy to sit down. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Mercy Ndirangu. Please give her another round of applause. Come on. You know, the funny thing about the speakers today is that each one of them is doing over 3 professional careers. Now, I don't know how tired people are. Mnataka kuchangamka kidogo? Shall we? Or should the MC entertain you kidogo? I should. DJ, hebu fanya kitu kidogo. Ati? Say what?
Here who has come, there's a function here, there's a high level government meeting. You will not see a communication person participating in the meeting. 5-10 minutes to the end of the meeting is when you will be told, hey, we want to take a photo shoot out here. I can see Dorothy laughing. Or call us, the media, we want to do a presser. Or actually write the press statement containing content to which you did not take part. So you are not even sure what you're writing, but somehow you will write something. And that, to a great extent, affected the level of communication that was being done, because you are reporting third-party information. You were not there, somebody was there. They came and told you what to write, so you wrote exactly or somehow close to what they told you. And that denied the communication professionals in the county governments the independence to shape the message as it ought to go to the public. 10 years later, communication professionals have been highly in county governments, and we are now sitting in those meetings, taking part in those discussions, and telling the story from a first-person point of view. And as people in PR, you should be clapping for the, because that is where you are headed. You should clap for us who went ahead of you, because we've made the way for you to come and find devolved governments that appreciate the role of communication. And what is the implication, which is also very important to you as you go through your studies. As a communication professional in government today about agriculture, because you are there to communicate on behalf of government, and you cannot communicate and tell the story of the government without first having the understanding. So that is very important to note, that it's no longer I'm a PR and communication practitioner, so I don't care what is happening in health. I don't care what is happening in agriculture. I don't care what is happening in finance. I can actually tell you all the processes that you need to go through as a county government to access funding from the National Treasury. It is that serious. So the profession is no longer viewed as just a tool for passing information. In the same article that I referred to, Ruth goes further to say, government communication has become increasingly important over the last couple of decades for several reasons. One of these reasons is the need for transparency. In this era of increased government scrutiny and mistrust by citizens, and that is quite evident in our country, government performance is evaluated based on its level of transparency. Transparency is fundamental in portraying the accurate picture of government operations. It allows the citizen to evaluate the performance of the government and hold the government accountable. And to that, I'll speak to a point on the increased avenues for agenda setting as a key evolution in government communication. I probably fall in the millennials, and but I have very vague memories of what used to happen when we were growing up during the Moi era, when news could always start as mtukufu rais. So we all looked up to 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. news to actually know what is happening in government. And if VOK, right, that is what it was, if VOK has not said what Mtukufu Rais has done today or where he was, then the whole country is in darkness on what is happening in government. But that is no longer the case. With the digital media being a free space for everyone, government is no longer the only source of information of what is actually happening in government. And I think for me, there is no better time to live than now, when somehow the citizens of this country have the avenues to exercise the sovereignty of the power that the Constitution gives to them. So agenda is being set by the citizens, and government is actually now picking up the agenda from the citizens to act. Evidently, most of the agenda setting is being done in the digital space. You can see the recent issue of security in, what's that place where there is an issue? I just forget the name. There are things that the citizens are pushing and the government is taking up because of the evolution. And Mercy spoke about the two-way communication. So it's no longer as government informing the public of what is happening, but the public is actually telling us that we are aware you are doing this, and you owe us an explanation as to why you are doing this X, Y, and not Y, Z. It is both a blessing and also a double-edged sword, especially for us who are communication practitioners, because then it means we have a lot of crisis management to do, as we define it in government. I don't know how crisis that is, but you will hear here and there statements like there's information leakage and everything, and then you ask yourself, where is the balance between what the government thinks people ought to know and actually the right to information that we have as a people? You also ask yourself, communication is supposed to enhance transparency in government. And when information that the government perceives as classified and not supposed to get to the public gets to the public, it becomes a crisis. So it's still an evolution that we are trying to handle in government. Being a double-edged sword, the digital space is also a blessing to government because it has had other impacts on government communication. And I'll still go back to the days when during national celebrations or important days in the country, the government used to actually hire choppers to drop off the president's speeches in various parts of the country. Yes, Dorothy, stop giving me that face. It used to happen. It was choppers that were being used to drop the president's speech in various parts of the country, which is no longer happening. We are simply posting it on digital platforms and people having access to it. We have also reduced the number of printouts we do, our press releases and everything. Not to say that we are no longer printing them, but there's a cost implication, a positive one for that matter, because now we are spending less on doing big banners and probably shifted somehow to the digital banners. In embracing the digital space, most county governments communicate through the digital space, yes, but still the bureaucratic nature of government does not allow us as communication professionals to just post anything on the digital space. And partially it's because of the consumers of such information. It's easier for me to believe information on government in the Daily Nation than it will be to believe what I have probably read on Twitter. I'll go deeper and try to verify if this is the authentic Twitter handle of the county government of Kisii. If it's Lillian who has posted, I'll call one or two people there and ask them, who is the head of corporate communication for Kisii County? So it's still a challenge that in as much as we are embracing the digital space, the consumers of our information still have reservations about information we communicate on the digital space. There's a time we were employing and we decided to do the advert on LinkedIn. We put it on our website and other social media platforms, and deliberately ignored the print media. Somebody moved to court that we did not use the right channel to communicate the vacancy, and we were probably forced to re-advertise it on Standard, Nation, and Star, so that people felt now government is doing its work. So there is that shift. I don't understand how we have completely embraced the private sector communicating to us through the digital space. But when it comes to government, we are still not sure that we should get the information through the digital space. In terms of effectiveness and efficiency, the digital space has also played a big role in the communication of government. We are now able to reach a larger audience than we could before we embraced the digital space in terms of timeliness, and most importantly, to the residents of our country, real-time feedback. There's no better platform to get real-time feedback for government as social media. And they will always say it as it is. At times we take it as crisis that is actually not crisis because it's feedback that is helping us to improve the service delivery. But that is a positive evolution of communication in government. On the objective of government communication, yes, we are still communicating for dissemination of information as a duty we owe to the public. But it's also amazing that government is now embracing communication as a tool for sustainable development. And that is why when I started talking, I said I am a storyteller who tells stories on behalf of the county government of Kisii. I'll give an example of where we have highly utilized communication to achieve development in communication. And one of the things I'm personally very proud about is the Kenya-UK Health Alliance. It's a bilateral agreement between the Kenyan government and the British government. And we have told stories about the Western Kenya region that led to this program that will now see establishment of a medical city in Kisii County, supported by several other counties in the Western Kenya region. And one of the stories that is very close to my heart about this program is a story we told about sickle cell disease in Kisumu County. How many of us here come from Kisumu County? Only one? Oh. Right. I don't know if you know this, but there is a problem that has been ignored for quite some time now about sickle cell disease in Kisumu County. And we told a story, and now Maseno University will be funded to do research and establish a whole hospital dedicated to management of sickle cell disease. Equally, Kisii County has a problem with non-communicable diseases, diabetes, high pressure, and all those things, and will equally be funded to establish a medical city and a center of excellence in teaching, in health teaching, that will see the management of the non-communicable diseases. Another story we told about Kisii that led to foreign direct investment is on avocado farming. Anybody seeing me can see avocado. We are avocado farmers. And telling a story through the Sustainable Economic Development Program funded by the British government. On 29th of this month, we are launching an avocado factory in Kisii as a value chain project. Courtesy of a story that was told on how the farmers are not getting value for their money. So I said that as an illustration of the practicality of the evolution of communication in government, and actually what communication is able to do away from just branding and informing. It can be a tool for sustainable, inclusive development. And that is why you will hear people like us introducing ourselves. As the head of corporate communication and resource mobilization, because there is a communication aspect in mobilizing resources to spur development. So beyond writing memos, articles, speeches, and fighting social media wars that we are well known of as communication professionals in county governments especially, we also tell stories for development, stories for investment attraction, stories that lead to foreign direct investments, stories that inform policy, and stories that spur sustainable, equitable, and inclusive development. Thank you for listening to me. I told a story. I don't know if people ask questions out of stories told, but if anyone wishes to ask me a question. No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Give her another round of applause, man. Now today is indeed a very beautiful day because we have heard from very respectable personalities, and I believe that ladies in the house are beautiful citizens of this country who are aspiring to do great things, have been challenged by the type of guests that we have, because right from the COD to the Dean, to Madam Mercy Ndirangu, to Dorothy Ooko, as she requested to be called, to lastly Lillian Bonareri, all of them are doing amazing and doing very beautiful careers. And you've basically heard from communication experts who have like 10 years experience in their various fields. So I hope you felt challenged, and I hope you're also aspiring to become as great as them. And like they say, we all have equal opportunities, or in short, the world is your oyster. We are gradually getting to the end of this program. Ningependa msimame kidogo, mstretch kidogo tu. Stretch kidogo tu. DJ Vatsi wachangamshe kidogo basi. Wachangamshe kidogo. No. Ni mimi nachangamsha ama hao ndio wanajichangamsha? Wacha wajichangamshe. Just for a minute. Do we have questions? Do we have questions for our guests? Do we have questions for our guests? Ask all the questions you want. I want to believe that there are people who will be going for attachment over here. Take advantage to ask the questions. I'm also tempted to think and believe that you'd want to consult on a few areas after school. In our midst, there are communication experts, and we also have media gurus in Masindi Rangu. She's a journalist and a former news reporter. So it doesn't matter if you're a PR student or broadcast student, please ensure that you have something to ask. We are all here for your affairs today. This is your program, this is your event. Please have something to ask. We just take a few questions and yeah, we call it a day. Mr. Ian, is Mr. Ian around? He was somewhere. Today was helping us distribute the microphones. Okay. Do we have questions? Questions? Yes, there's a question there. Yes?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wangoi Maina. I am a final year student who have not studied communications and in economics, but I have two questions directed to the last of the day. Elaborate from my point of view, as in my own way. I need people to make me fund my organization, how I can do that, communication especially. And my last question is, as an economics student, I'd like to move towards communication. So how can I make that move from where I am right now, even if I don't have
foundation of communication of journalism? Thank you.
Thank you, Wangui. Any other question? Any other question? We have a question from William Martin. I was asking how they don't have the research, how they are having research. Come up again. I was asking, yes, how the job market looks like after doing commercial science. How did you want? I think the theory can answer the question. But you know, anyway, noted that. Noted. One last question. One last question. Please pass the mic to the guy in yellow at the terraces. Good afternoon. Yes. My question goes to Mark. What is it that thing that you wish you could do that you didn't do? It's good to be unique, yeah? It's good to be unique. It's good to be unique. I think we've closed down the questions. Good. I think we could answer the one more. Okay, one more. Please, one more. Make it the last one. Good afternoon. Mine is just to all the speakers. You've given out your speeches and your presentations. Now, I just want to ask one question on all the speakers. What would you tell someone who is aspiring to become like you, or someone who is trying to become like you? In short, what would you tell the old self of you back then, or right now, what to do, what to do? I'll keep it short. Your time is running. Noted. So we have the 4 questions. I don't know if we could start from this side. Please bring the mic.
Someone asked about how to use communication to get your organization funded, right? I spoke about telling a story. And a story I am a founder and chair of Women Empowerment Circle, operating in Southern Tanzania. It's called Uzamama Circle. And I've got to seal partnerships by just simply telling the rights of the smallholder farmers and traders, women, in those regions. And the story simply goes as simple as these women are hardworking, they're probably the majority who are putting food on the table and taking kids to school. They have been in business for 10, 15, 20 years. They cannot expand goods. They are accessing the meat from chariots at very exorbitant rates. And Uzamama Circle is coming in to solve that problem. So you must be very particular on what social impact problem are you solving. I mean, what objective? What is the objective of the organization? So it also depends on how you package. Because if you tell a black story, if I came and told you, I have a circle, I find women, I want money. But if I told you that these women are suffering because they are accessing exorbitant rates from chariots. So they cannot grow because the little they make, it's a vicious cycle of poverty that we call it that. I think as a result of the exorbitant rates with which they access credit. So you can tell a story in form of a project proposal. You can tell a story in form of a strategic plan. You can tell a story in form of just a simple letter you're writing to the head of some organization somewhere. So it goes back to how you are packaging your story. I hope I've answered your question. Number two, you spoke about a shift from economics to communication. I really need to know why you have to shift from economics to communication. Maybe it's a passion, but I shifted from IT to communication because I did an introspection and realized I was just forcing myself in. Not because I was not understanding the concepts. Because part of the things I do for the county government of BC is systems, specifically web systems. So I'm still applying my IT skills to the web-based systems. But I'll take you back to what Dorothy said when she was speaking. Do what you have. Because you always be motivated to do it. So I'm now in communication because it was simply what I love doing. I could write and I could speak and tell a story over and over again until it catches people's attention with an end to it. Thank you. What I wish to do. My young lady, right? First of all, before I answer that, is I want to understand that we all believe. We all believe. Your harm is different from non-harm. That's how you so how you do your PR be a bit different from it. And that's what I was talking here with my colleagues is that we all bring a different unique aspect to PR, and that's why collaboration is very important. So the other thing is, one thing we need to know where you want to go. I told
I wasn't sure exactly where media and communication are professionals, but because of doing I did internship in marketing, internship in journalism, internship in PR, until I came to realize I actually and the reason I did that was, in journalism, it's not structured. You may be at home at 12 midnight, a crisis happens, you are called by your editor to go and cover that story. You may be called, you just take your ID, your flight is paid for, I will be in the newsroom as early as 5 a.m., as early as 6 a.m. But now when I grew older, when I knew I wanted to have a family, I wanted to have children, I said I wanted something that is more structured. And that's why I went to PR. So it's, different people have different reasons, and your reason may not be my reason. And that's why, because I had come from a journalistic aspect of the now and then, it gave me the sense of God. What I would say is to be more confident and assertive. When I was younger, because I would be very far if I was more confident and assertive, especially for women. And it's another topic when we discuss about the prejudices and challenges that we face in the job market. You need to be very confident and assertive. Build strong relationships. And when I say strong relationship, they should be genuine relationships. And then also develop a diverse skill set. Like for me, I can do marketing. If I got a marketing job, I do it very well. If I went back to the newsroom, I would still do very well. And in PR, I would do very well. And also now in data, so that's why I was wondering why you want to do economics. It's going to really help you moving forward. Because now I need to do data, like all that. So have a diverse skill set. The other thing is stay up to date on what's happening in the industry. Things may change. Right now, previously we were not hiring social media managers. Now every company is hiring a social media manager. If you don't know how to use social media, you cannot be employed. So what do you do even if you're not learning that in school? Go to places like Google, learn those short courses on how to do social media marketing. Learn as much as you can. And then I think that's my last point is embrace change. There are things that I learned that are not working right now. So I have to keep learning and unlearning. I learn and I unlearn so that I keep myself to pace up to where the world is going.
I think for the interest of time, we're good? Okay. Thank you so much for your cooperation and your patience throughout. It's been an honor hosting this event and interacting with you away from class. I'm extremely happy for that. Also thank you to our dear guests for coming and gracing the occasion and talking to the students. Now, I promised to give out a bag to one person who retweeted today, who tweeted and had the most interactions, and the systems tell me that it's somebody by the name called Ibilisi. Ibilisi, please give him a round of applause. Ibilisi, it's been America, IBI. Underscore then LEASY. Ibilisi. I think I'll request Dorothy to present the award to me, if you don't mind. Thank you. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much. Again, lastly, I'll request our COD, Madam Lillian, soon to be doctor, to present some organic awards to our guests. We have a little gift hampers to our three CEOs in the building as well. So I request them to make way to the podium so that they can be awarded. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. As they make their way to the stage, welcome. When you visit a homestead, you come with, you don't go empty-handed. What you visit and there and when someone comes to your house with something, you can never send them back empty-handed. So yeah, these visitors came with something, and we want to send them back with something. Because JK1 is a rich university, we have a lot of, yes? There is a lot of stuff to admire from, I'm buying time to have my dear come here and seeing her working. But there's a lot of stuff to admire from our presenters today. One of the things I need to say is that Lillian and I share two things. We have two things in common. We share a name, and we also tell stories. The only difference is I tell stories of giants. She tells stories that make people. So I need to see her after this, so she can tell me how to convert the stories of giants into money, something monetary. Don't think as I posted the poster in the morning about the program in the morning. Can you join me on the stage so you can help me with the visitors? So Dorothy has posted that program. Someone saw you and they were like, how is this going to meet Dorothy? So then, by the end of this day, I will introduce you to Dorothy. So you better be my friend because I owe someone an introduction to you before the end of this day. Yeah, and it's been nice meeting you, Mercy. She was very punctual. She was the first person who came here 30 minutes before program. And she has a wealth of information. There is a lot to learn from her. You cannot debunk whatever is in her in one day. So we will need to have you over and over. Enough times. I don't know. Yeah, we will organize that. We are running out of time. There are some people who have an event here in a few. So I will request the dean to present the gifts that came from the university so that you do not go home empty-handed. Yeah, this university is rich. You will be
very rich.
Very rich. So thank you, dean. You can.
I think one by one.
All right, thank you very much. This gift hamper, which we have given to many of our guests, include items that JK White makes on site. So, talks about us market our things. And so, I'm very, very pleased and privileged to present this to you.
So we have Lillian. So here we have Lillian Bonarelli from Kisii County Government. We are both Kisiis. We have Dorothy Ooko from, she put me to task that if I do not get this right, I don't know what will happen to me. I might get blacklisted from Google. So she's the head of communication and public affairs at Google Africa. So we have the beautiful Mercy Duramo from Planet Management Group. So it's been an honor having you here. So thank you so much for
for coming. Thank you for staying put. I think Elieza has something for each one of us. So I don't know how he's planning to do this, but don't leave. Oh, you have to leave because there's another event happening, but Muslim, don't get you out of sight. Thank you so much, and I wish you a lovely afternoon and a nice weekend ahead.
Thank you, Manda. I'm not going to for us, Elieza is the overall organizer and the NBA chairman. I haven't had time to do this. You can give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm here to appreciate. We say we are rich university, right? We are rich in that giving also. So I'm here to give the appreciation. As Dorothy was speaking, I sat down, I was seated and I thought, she woke up, she had to go through what she was presenting, and she probably got about it the whole week. And probably, you seated there, you only thought because she works, she'll just come and stay in. But she took and invested some energy, which is also the same for Lillian and also the same for Mercy. So I really would want us to appreciate them. Let's appreciate them in a bigger way. And the rest of us, you can give us free, you can give us shout. Thank you for the one who took the thoughts. When you want to call Mercy or to call Lillian or even Dorothy, the amount of money that you will pay to meet them, they have not charged you. That's a whole, you've gotten a mileage for years. So that's an appreciation that you cannot deny them. The other person I want to appreciate on behalf of PRSK is Amos. Amos put me to task. Let's appreciate Amos. Amos put me to task just a few weeks. And for us to have this event, I did not push, probably we wouldn't be having it. He has always done so, and every time that he comes, students get internships. PRSK have been our partners, so let's appreciate PRSK and thank you for the speaking I would want to appreciate our dean for gracing the occasion. She had a meeting, she came, opened, went to the meeting, she's back to see that her guests are still well served, and let's appreciate our dean. Finally, in absentia, our COD, who ensured that everything was well done, and let's appreciate Lillian. The other team I want to appreciate are my fellow colleagues. We have Kitota as a representative, we have Cecilia, John Wandaga was running things on the ground, we have Denver who was the MC. Let's appreciate the lecturers. And the non-teaching staff, the operating office in the theatre. And finally, appreciate yourself, the student of Kenya. This event is not about the students. Appreciate yourself. And finally, let's appreciate God. Opportunity, and that's what I needed to do. So I ask us to arise, we pray, and with that we come to let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, we thank you because of a good day that we had. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to interact with greatness. They took their time to prepare and they came to our universities and they have given us a wealth of knowledge, what they have gained from experience. And those that have listened, we believe, will be able to make steps without missing, without turning back. So we appreciate you, God, for giving us such a good occasion and an orderly one. And we thank you also for the students, and we pray that this will be an eye-opener for them. Thank you for the ability, thank you for the resources, thank you for even the contribution that they have given, and more so PRSK, who have ensured that the network between JKUR, the School of Communication, and then carries forward. And we pray that even as we look for more partnerships, that you will help us to continued well. And now for the afternoon and everything that we are going to do over the weekend and in the days to come, we commit that to you. We give you thanks, we give you glory, and we honor you. We pray this in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you. You're free to leave. For the guests, I believe they deal with the media. For the students in the committee, let's meet at the back. Thank you so much.
Mimi nikuache tu.
I've been at Google for over 11 years. Prior to joining Google, I worked at Nokia. I led communications at Nokia, East Africa, Central Africa, and Southern Africa, Mozambique. My passion about what I do in communications is really about information. It's sharing information and making sure that my holders get information they need when they need it. As a PR person, to lead the lobbying for VAT in Kenya. Telcos, I brought manufacturers of devices and government people, and then brought the media and started explaining this was very important. And I feel very grateful, and I feel like that's one of the success for me, having brought VAT down as a PR person. The reason I've been at Google for so long is exactly this, an environment where it is safe to try things. And that's really important, that people are not afraid, like, if I do this and it's wrong, I won't. It's a safe environment allows you to be able to try. It allows you to bring who you are, your whole self to work. I don't think about career